There we go. My mic is now back on.
All
Good
right.
thing,
About
good thing you're here. Otherwise, this show would screech to a
This is
halt.
why I'm here every day. That's why I can't take a day off.
You can't. You can't.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Two Dumb Yinzers. This is episode 254. That's right, 254. How you doing this morning, Michael?
I'm doing fan frickin' tastic, my man. I'm living the dream today.
I tell you what, it was a pretty good weekend as far as our hometown teams, some sports. We had some things going on. We're going to talk about today.
Yes. It was a good
Um,
weekend. Good
it was a
weekend in
really good
Pittsburgh.
weekend.
It really
Absolutely.
was.
Just make a little adjustment on my end here.
Oh, adjusting. Oh, what are we adjusting?
Don't you worry about it.
Oh, I can't see it on camera. I'm a little.
I think we're gonna talk about hockey. We're gonna do some hockey first, Mike.
Oh yeah, baby.
I was debating. It was either going to be between the Penguins or the Pitt Panthers. We're going to start out with some hockey today. And one thing that I noticed, Mike, is this team is 2-0 since the Fire Hextall chance. Is this any
Yes.
you come out on Saturday, you win an overtime game, you come home yesterday against the team that you probably
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have beaten, you whoop
No.
on them. I mean, is there any correlation, Mike, between this 2-0 run that we're on since Ron Hextall had his head on a platter just last week against the Edmonton Oilers?
We had the fire Hextall chant, and then you put Kasperi Kapanen on waivers, and the Blues do him a favor,
Mhm.
Hextall a favor by picking him up. So this is like, I think those two events combined is what this team needed. It's like a kick in the pants, and that win we'll get you against the Lightning. I think that was a much needed win by this team.
And I was a little concerned because we had Casey DeSmith back in the net last
Mm-hmm.
night. Obviously, you don't want to go back to back with your goalies much, but DeSmith was in net. I thought, oh yeah, we got Tampa coming to town. We just haven't been playing great hockey lately. And it really surprised me and pretty much everybody else who watched this game last night. If you didn't catch it, it was a period of time in the second period for 4 minutes and 29 seconds. We just couldn't stop scoring. We put
No.
up five goals in that period of time and six altogether in that second period, Mike. And ultimately, in the 7-3 win, that's all you're scoring.
It was wild too, because we're going into the second period down to one. You're thinking, oh no, here we go again.
Right.
No, we score what Drew O'Connor scores, at the 3 minutes, 20 seconds mark. Things are looking good. Then boom, two goals, 2 minutes apart for Tampa. It's like, oh no, here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it can't happen. Then hey, we get a quick goal in the third from Malkin. Then Crosby, then Bluger, then Jeff Carter joins the party. Look, where has he been? Then Jason MF and Zucker scores. Then Dumo, first goal of the
Yeah.
year, out of
Amazing.
nowhere. It's like, all right, this is what this team needed. They needed it, man.
And we do. I mean, we have to kind of celebrate now because we go back down. We play Tampa Bay on Thursday.
Yeah.
We play Nashville and then Tampa. And I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure we'll see their starting goalie, and it will be a whole different game down there. They play a lot better on their
Yeah.
home ice. But Mike, for what it was, this team, if you're going to beat some teams, and the situation that we're in, Tampa Bay is a great team to be one of the teams that you beat. And like
Yeah.
I said, you're coming off that 3-2 overtime win on Saturday. They, and as you mentioned, Kapanen gets picked up off of waivers that day,
Mm-hmm.
but very team that we're playing. And I think that's going to work out for everybody because you had said the other day when we were talking, he just didn't get it. He couldn't pull it together here at Pittsburgh,
No.
and he seems like a good dude. And everyone likes this guy, so maybe he could go to St. Louis and kind of revive his career a little bit, and he could be doing okay over there.
Hopefully, former first round draft pick by the Penguins, and like he had the chance up in Toronto, playing on some pretty good lines, couldn't put it together here. He couldn't put it together. Let's, put him out in St. Louis where there's, Toronto and Pittsburgh have high expectations.
Right.
And you can put him out there in St. Louis. Maybe the expectations aren't that high. Let's see what, maybe he can turn his career around. It's hard to say. I almost called him a kid. The guy's been in the league, for years now. So, hopefully he can finally put it together. And
And the
hey,
thing about
it frees up cap space for the Penguins to make call a couple people up off the long term IR. So, it's what we needed, and hopefully change the scenery is what he needs.
I never underestimate the power of fans complaining, especially in here in Pittsburgh. And you come out last week and we're playing Edmonton and we're getting our tails whooped, and the
Mm-hmm.
fan starts chanting, fire Hextall, and all of a sudden you have this. I don't want to call it miraculous, but you know what? It was a pretty nice turnaround compared to what
Yeah.
we've been doing for the past couple of weeks since the All-Star break. I always think to myself, people bitch and kind of make fun of the cities who have strong fan bases who make their voices heard. I
Mm-hmm.
always think it's a good thing, because whether you think so or not, or whether Hextall wants to admit it or not, it plays a role. It certainly plays a role, because here's the thing: if you're losing all your games, you're playing terrible hockey, and the fans are telling you something, I think that it would be in your best interest to at least pay attention to what they're saying, whether you do anything
Yeah.
off it or not. But like I said, all of a sudden you get this complete turnaround with this team playing good hockey. Maybe we should have been chanting "Fire Hextall" a lot earlier.
Well, we should have, but it still remains to be seen. What's he going to do? Trade deadline's coming up. There have been some pretty big trades
Yeah.
that have happened, and this team, it's as constructed. Yeah, we did just blow out the defending Stanley Cup champions, but we're going to need more. This team's going to need a lot more, because right now we took back that second wild card spot. We're going to it looks like we're going to be facing Carolina in the first round. We need more
Right.
to be able to beat that team. So
Absolutely.
this is step one. Okay, we trimmed some fat. There's a lot more to go that needs trimmed, and resources need added. Now, he said he doesn't want to give up number one draft picks. That's nice for the future, but you still have Crosby, Malkin, Letang. The future's now.
Right.
You're in win now for the next 3 years. I think that's how long Malkin signed for and Crosby somewhere. It's a win now mentality. You have to get what you can out of these guys. Worry about the future, in the future. Plan on you're not going to be here in 3 years. Plan on you're going to be here at the end of the year, and the playoff results are going to matter.
Right.
So you do what you can to win now, because this is what this team's built for. Crosby, Malkin, Letang, they didn't sign on to be where the team's going to be in 3 years. They want to now. So give up those first round picks, and if you get another championship out of it, I think the fan base is willing to have some down years to go, hey, we got 4 Stanley Cups out of this group.
Absolutely.
I would be happy with that. I'm even happy, we got 3 and we're trying to compete. But right now, man, haven't won a playoff series in 5 years. That's not good. Get out of the first round, and that's what you're going to have to build for. Build to get this team to win a championship. I don't think we're going to do it this year, but get them in place to win one next year.
Right. Which team, Mike? Not going off subject or anything, but of these 3 teams who's have not had great success in the postseason I'm speaking of the 3 professional teams in Pittsburgh, which one of these 3 teams can you see getting that first win? And I mean by in the hockey, by winning the series, of course.
Yeah.
Who is most likely of these 3 teams to advance out of the first round in the playoffs?
I hate to sound like a homer. It's the answer to say all Pittsburghers would say, all Yinzers would say, but I'd have to say the Steelers, just because it's a 1-game playoff.
Right.
Where
it's really hard to win hockey.
It is too, yeah, to close out a team.
You're playing the best of the best, and especially the closer you get to the Stanley Cup Finals. These teams it's no joke, no mistake why that they're there. So you're getting the best of the best, giving you they're the best. So I'd agree with you. I agree with you 100%. I think it would be the Steelers, because it would be, I don't want to say it's easy, but it would be easier. 4 out of 7 games. But something's got to give. Something's got to give. One of these teams has to do something, Mike.
Yeah.
And I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. I don't care.
Me either.
If it was the Pirates, I'd be fine with that. Just somebody win something,
Yeah. And it's just frustrating. I find the Steelers' lack of success frustrating, but the Penguins even more. In the same time frame, the Penguins do have one more championship than the Steelers, but it's not fair to the big 3. You think, okay, these guys would have more success, but you making it out of the first round, you would think would, that team should be making it to the second round at least.
There's teams that pop out of nowhere that's not, the best teams in the league that get out of the first round in these respective sports. And here we are with these teams in Pittsburgh, where it's almost like getting over this wall is impossible.
It is. But like at least like in football, like we said, it's a one game thing. The other team's star quarterback could get hurt and boom, that's all you need is one injury. Where in hockey, you run into a hot goalie, it doesn't matter who's playing in front of them. We've seen it, man.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Goalies come out of nowhere and stealing playoff series. It's just for 1 year, then falling off the map. You never hear from them again. So it's like you run into that hot goalie. I don't care. You could have like the greatest hockey team of all time. You're going to have, Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, and Rocket Richard on a team, and you run into a hot goalie, chances are you might not win that game because the goalie can stand on their head and steal it.
You're right.
Whereas in football, man, you're one bad hit, one bad block away from your star quarterback being out, and then we very rarely see the backup quarterback come in and win, unless in Buffalo, the Frank Reich game. That's about it. And
how freakish was that? I mean, that wasn't even
that was like, and that's the anomaly. Where in hockey, everyone says you watch out for that hot goalie. Watch out for that hot goalie.
You're right.
So for me, that's why I'm saying the Steelers will be the one to, make it past like the first round.
Right.
It's because it's so much harder in hockey to close out a team.
Like I'd said, though, we played back-to-back days over the weekend. We were in St. Louis on Saturday. The Pens were able to squeak out a 3-2 win in overtime. Ooh. They came home yesterday with it was a pretty nice game. If you were there, Donnie Iris was there. The fans really enjoyed that. He sang the national anthem. And then the Penguins, like I said, after the second period, it was like, they win 7-3 this game. They scored 5 of them goals in a 4-minute 29 period of time in the second period. I didn't see this coming in a million years, Mike. I didn't see us coming out. And if, it's one thing to beat a team like Tampa Bay, but it's another thing to beat a team like Tampa Bay 7-3.
Yeah.
So it was a good weekend. It was a good weekend for hockey here in Pittsburgh. And also, Mike, tomorrow night we travel to Nashville at 8:00 to play the Predators. And then on Thursday, we're down in Tampa Bay playing them guys again. One side note with the Penguins, Mike Crosby did reach another record. He is, let's see, what is it? 13 or more seasons with 70 points. Is that what it is?
That's correct. And he's
become the 14th player in the NHL history to do that.
Yep. And the only active player right now to reach that milestone.
So there you have it, everybody. Crosby he's not ever going to stop being great. At this point, anytime he steps on the ice, there's a chance that he could break something, some kind of record. So that's why, let's just enjoy these guys while they're still here, whether they win a cup, whether they don't win a cup. We still got Crosby, you still got Letang, you still got Malkin. We could just enjoy the hell out of it because, like I said, they're just, padding stats now and breaking records. So if we're not winning every game, at least there is accomplishments being had. And we could, I can certainly appreciate it. But like I said, it is time when somebody with a black and gold uniform wins a playoff game.
I hope it is the Penguins this year, but
I hope it is. I hope it's
me too, man. Like the big three, man. I just, Malkin had 3 points in the past 2 games, 2 goals and assists. Crosby with like a goal and 2 assists. Letang a couple assists throughout the weekend series. And it's the big three are holding up their end of the bargain.
Yeah.
I want to throw in Zucker, Rackle, and Gensel. Everyone else, man, needs to start coming along. We're kind of seeing it. Teddy Bluger got a goal. Drew O'Connor finally pitching in. Jeff Carter pitching in out of nowhere. So
you see what I'm saying? After this
lower tiers got to
produce of Ron Hextall. I'm sorry. Now you have all these guys, Mike, who haven't produced. We haven't scored a goal all season. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You raise a little bit of Kane, then all of a sudden things start to happen. I like it, Mike. Whether that's going to be enough to, catapult us to where we want to be, that's yet to be seen. However, it has us. What you said, we have us back in the last playoff spot. Is that
last playoff spot? It's a tight. We're back into a tight race right there. Let's see. I just had the standings up. Yeah, we are. Yeah, we have that last spot. We have 67 points. Islanders are just above us at 69, but they have played 63 games. We've played 59.
Okay.
But keep in mind, right behind us, Buffalo Sabres, 66 points. They played 58 games. And then right behind them, we have Red Wings with 64, Panthers with 64, Caps with 64. And we have game in hands on the Panthers and the Capitals, but the Red Wings have a game in hand on us.
Okay.
So it's a tight spot, but maybe this weekend is what this team needed. Cleanse the palate, Just go
Just the
back
last
out there
time
and
we
refocus.
spoke here on air, we were talking about the free fall, and there was
Yeah.
no sign of stopping
Mhm.
the fall. And this weekend really brought back hope for this Pittsburgh Penguins team, Mike. And I hope that we could continue to build. And of course, that's not going to, you'd like to see them round off about 10 wins in a row. It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But as long as we keep moving in the right direction and get out of that free fall, that thing was
Yeah.
that was killing us. And it was really making me lose hope fast in this hockey team, Mike. But the Penguins they're 29, 21, and 9. And like I said, the next game tomorrow night at Nashville. So let's hope. What's Nashville look like this year?
Nashville. Oh man, I just moved away. I forget they're not that great. I don't think they're doing that well this year. I know there's like just a big trade with Nashville. Nashville's 29, 22, and 6. They're sitting fifth. Yeah, they just traded. So Tampa Bay, or excuse me, yeah. Oh man, they traded away one of their forwards to
sellers.
Yeah, they're sellers. They're starting to sell. They're starting to downsize. But they traded. Who did they trade? Tanner Janot to the Tampa Bay Lightning. And this trade was wild. It's the one I think of. Yes. So Predator sent Janot to the Tampa Bay Lightnings. They get back defenseman Cole Foote, a 3rd, 4th, and 5th round pick this year, a 2nd round pick in 2024, and a 1st round pick in 2025. Okay. So yeah, they are sellers, but this trade is wild. Like how many draft picks were traded?
Yeah, that
this
is
guy,
wild,
4 or 5 draft picks and a player for this kid. That is insane. I how many goals? Yeah, and he only has 5 goals this year. Yeah, because I saw a tweet. It was like, yeah, they got the amount of draft picks he has goals scored this year. That is insane. You're giving up 5 draft picks for a guy who's only scored 5 goals. But hey, you're hoping you put him in that Tampa Bay system, and he'll blossom and then break out. But at 25 years old, man, this is like God, you should be entering your prime at that age.
So these are our next 2 opponents, everybody. We do got Nashville tomorrow. We got Tampa Bay on Thursday. Mike, let's bounce on over to the hardwood. Why don't we?
Yes.
Big day today. You want to know why it is the big day? Because today is the day that the new rankings come out in the NCAA.
Yes.
Here we are, 2 games left in this basketball season for the Pitt Panthers, and yet being on top of the ACC alone twice this season, knocking out a ranked North Carolina team on top of beating them both times we played them, beating a ranked Miami team, Virginia. Mike, we still aren't in the top 25. I can't believe it, but you know what? At this point, don't slap Pitt in the face and give them a stupid 20 or 21. You know what? At this point, don't even rank them. Let these guys play with the edge that they've had for the past month or 2. They're red hot. This team is playing as good as anybody else in college basketball. You get that 1 seed, you get a double bye, Mike. A lot of good things. Now it comes down to this. Wednesday night we play Notre Dame. Yes. Notre Dame's a pretty bad basketball team. I just watched them lose the other night. They are 2-16, give or take, in the conference. Really bad. They win this game, Mike. If the Pitt Panthers beat the Notre Dame Fighting Irish in Notre Dame in South Bend on Wednesday night, they already clinch at least the co-title for the regular season ACC championship. And then Miami, who is off idle till Saturday when we face them for the final game of the regular season, if we win that game, then we will win the ACC outright. However, if we lose that game, we will be a co-champion with the so all we got to do basically to win this conference is beat Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty confident that they could do that unless something crazy happens.
Yeah.
You know what I think is going to be crazy that can happen? Ranking them. They don't rank this team. Don't do it. They have their backs against the wall. It's Pitt against the world. Mm-hmm. I think you rank this team that messes with their heads. We talk about this many times on the show. Don't rank us. Just leave us out. At this point, why? It's a slap in the face. Do not rank Pitt.
Keep them unranked. It's the curse of like the Pitt teams, Pittsburgh teams. Like when you get high into like we see it with like the football team at Pitt, even like Penn State, you get ranked at a certain level. That's when the wheels start to fall off. It always happens. So for this team right here, like you're saying, I want them to have that us against them world mentality.
An unranked Pitt football team could beat a number one Clemson who didn't lose to a team a whole entire National League season, a national championship season. However, a ranked Pitt football team could lose to the worst team on any given Saturday. It's just, I don't know why it happens that way. I don't know if it's a psychological thing. Please, by all means, do not rank this team today. You have 2 games left. And, like I said, it's a slap in the face. I just think that you got to see that this team is way better than especially those teams from 20 to 25. You got to see that they're playing as good as the team from 15 to 20. And and beyond that, I don't know, because there's a lot of good basketball, but it's hard to tell. Mike, today the big rankings, the new rankings come out. But before we get to that point, which I mean, it's going to be this afternoon, it's not going to be long now. But we're going to get off the air and find that information out. But they played a game on Saturday, Mike. It was senior night at the Pete. They played your boy Jim Boeheim's Syracuse Orange.
My boy.
And Boeheim, he went back and he retracted some of the things that he was saying, and he kind of politically corrected things, and so I mean, everyone was just ready to pound Jim Boeheim last weekend. Mike, they win 99-82. That was the most points the Pitt's Panthers scored this season. It was senior night. There was 6 players in double digits. Also, they broke the record, Mike, for threes for the program. Nobody ever in Pitt history has ever made more 3-pointers. I think it was at 264 whenever they announced it, and I think we got a couple more. So I'm just going to loosely say it's about 266, 267.
Yeah.
Blake Henson, he hit his 1,000-point mark in this game. It was an amazing game. If you're a Pitt fan, it was an amazing tune-up game moving into what we have going on, and hopefully, like I said, we carry that over to Notre Dame. I can't even imagine Notre Dame beating this team. I watched them the other night to see what we were going up against, and like I said, it's going to be something really bad if that would be the case. But like I said, if we win, Mike, we win Wednesday night over Notre Dame, we clinch at least the co-champions of the ACC. So I'm liking our chances, Mike.
Yeah, me too. And like you said, because they still have the ACC tourney to go, correct?
Yes.
And if they win out, that's what the double bye you were talking about. Get that first round bye, second round bye in the tourney. That would be nice. Get some rest in, and you're able to see, okay, who are we going to play? That I would like that for them too. A nice reward for a season that literally, I don't think anyone outside of that, maybe that locker room, saw coming.
Here's something that pisses me off too. The ACC isn't strong because Duke and North Carolina aren't at the top. Yeah. And what's ridiculous about this, aren't having a bad season. They are right below the ranked teams and playing. It's a shame that those teams have to be at the top in order for you to say that the conference is being success. I think that these teams at the top, and I'm not talking about Pitt, I'm talking about Miami, I'm talking about Virginia. I mean, who's as high as 6 up until this point?
Yeah.
6, you see what I'm saying? We beat Virginia. We're above them in the conference. They're at 6. We're yet to be ranked.
Yeah.
It's just the ranking, Mike, it's making my fucking head spin. If you play somebody who's good and you lose, you could go up.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Normal on any level. Come on.
It's not. And like basketball rankings are weird. They take into account a lot of different factors, and it's too much for my dumb user brain to comprehend. But I'm looking through, at the time, they beat ranked North Carolina, ranked Virginia, close loss against ranked Duke, beat ranked Miami. It's, well, what more does this team have
and then
to do?
Sweeps North Carolina the second time around.
Yeah.
Go, we haven't lost to North Carolina for 3 years.
Yeah.
You still can't give us any credit.
Yeah. And to me, it all comes back to, I always say in college basketball and college football, it takes you that next year. Right. You have to have that at least 1 year, and then that follow-up year is when you start to get the recognition.
Now, a couple other games in the ACC, Mike, that we were obviously paying attention to on Saturday was the Virginia loss and the Miami loss. Florida State was one team. I can't think who beat the other squad, but both of those teams go down, Mike, in games that they probably should win. Like I said, I think that things are finally, we're probably going to get ranked today. And like I said, I'm kind of pissed off. At this point, don't rank us. Let us have our backs against the wall. Let it be us against the world. Let us go into the tournament. Let us get this double bye and see what this team could do moving forward. I just say don't slap us in the face anymore at this point, Mike. You know, I mean, you can't even say. I mean, these other teams are getting upset by teams they should beat, the Florida State, and you know, and here we are, we're beating all the teams we're supposed to beat, and you know, Syracuse are not a good team. You're supposed to kill them. Guess what? We killed them.
Yeah.
What's the problem? You know, and it's unfortunate, like you said, that might be the case, and you do see that in college a lot. There has to be a build up to, you know, them finally giving you favor in rankings, but at some point, this got to break, right?
It does. It does. You hope it should. But, you know, the way this team has been disrespected all year long, I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for them to, you know, win the ACC and still have like a low seed in the tourney.
Win the ACC, then win the ACC tournament.
Yeah.
And then give us like a 12 seed. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I can see it happening, something like that. Because I was looking at bracketology right now on ESPN. Let me pull it back up. Right now, I think they were a 10 seed in the East.
That's what I'm saying. Come on, this is one of the better. The guy in the game the other night was saying, "This is if you can't say that this is one of the top 25 teams in the country. You're out of your mind."
Yeah, and I'm looking at the rankings. Okay, let's see. Outside, they just landed outside the top 25. Right above them, NC State received 54 votes, and then Pittsburgh. Their NC State had 54 votes, then Pittsburgh at 34.
So is this for today's rankings?
No, this is I don't think it's updated yet. It was in the last rankings. But Pitt is above NC State in the conference, correct?
They're above everybody.
Yeah. So how the hell is NC State getting more votes than I don't get it. I'm sorry, NC State's in a different conference, correct? Yeah. No, the same conference. Yeah. Because I'm looking at it right now because there's Pitt, Miami, Virginia, Clemson, Duke, then NC State. How are people saying NC State's better than Pitt?
You know, and this you can't possibly say. Oh, these people in Pittsburgh are crying about it. You know, if it wasn't deserved, that's one thing. This is crazy.
It is too, because Pitt, I'm looking right now. Pitt beat NC State 80-73, and then they lost to them in the rematch, but it was 83-81.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. I don't get basketball rankings and how they figure it out who's better than who. Normally it's like, you know, if you beat someone and you're beating ranked teams and even if you have a loss against a ranked team, they've been close. This is a team that has proven that they can win, you know. I don't get it.
I got 3 more quick points, and then we were going to move on, Mike. Coach Capel, he is my front runner for the coach of the year, certainly in the ACC.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anybody that I would vote, but you know what? By the way that this season is gone, it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't win.
You know it's not going to happen. You know, it'll be like next year. They'll have a worse record, but then he'll get it next year.
Yeah. 2, 1 point in the game against Syracuse. My pick for the 6th man off of the year is Nike Sabandi. He, Mike, came in and this alley-oop that Nelly comes through from underneath.
Yes,
dude, it was that place went crazy. And then finally, Fish. He finally I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. His last name is Fish. The white gentleman that plays for the basketball team that gets a chance every time Pitt's getting blown or Pitt's blowing somebody out. And he hasn't scored, Mike. He was a walk-on. He was a team manager. Coach Capel gave him a chance. Fan favorite. Everybody loves this kid. Every time he gets in at the end of the game, the crowd goes crazy. He scored his first basket, Mike, in this last home game at Pitt Saturday night. Place went wild. It was a great feeling that the guys, you could tell they all really, they're close on this team, Mike. They chased him around. They tackled him. They gave him the game ball. Great stuff at Pitt on Saturday night. If you don't love this team, then I don't know. You might not really like basketball because this is a lot of fun right here.
Even if you don't like you have to like, if you like sports, you should like this team.
Yeah. And so, like I said, this team right here, Wednesday night, Mike, they go to South Bend to play the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They have a chance to clinch at least part of the ACC regular season that night. and then they go to Miami for the season finale. Again, Miami is sitting back, waiting, watching, and I'm sure they're going to be a very stiff game when we get down on Saturday, despite what happens on Wednesday. But very next game, Mike, is on Wednesday against Notre Dame.
Let's go Pitt. And
Let's
like
go
I say all the
Pitt.
time, that makes me feel dirty being a Penn State fan. But you know what? I don't want to talk about Penn State basketball right now. We apparently couldn't score a bucket in the last 13 minutes of that game. Oh my God. Talk about a collapse. They had that game in hand and they just couldn't score.
We won't pile on, but I do know what you're talking about. And, maybe they'll get it together, man.
No, they better.
Next, we have the XFL weekend, Mike. This league is oozing. It's oozing with Pittsburgh former players, people from the area. It's a great, I love the XFL. It's football after football. Football never ends here. I love it. I could do this all the time. Coach Hines Ward of the San Antonio Brahmas gets his very first win. And also Rod Woodson, he tries for his first win in the XFL. Get to that in just a minute. One thing that I'm noticing about this XFL, Mike, it's a defensive league so far. Everything that I'm seeing, with the exception of 1 or 2 teams, it's very strong defensively played. I think it's going to take a season or 2 to start. I just, it'll happen. I think the higher scoring things are going to happen. I think right now the defense is where it's at. And I tell you what, there was a lot of rain in this Vipers game, this Vegas Vipers. We're going to go into the first game of the weekend, which was Saturday. Of course, you remember we spoke about the game Thursday on the last day that we were on. So this would be the second XFL game of the weekend, which was Saturday. Now it was the DC Defenders. They went to Las Vegas to play Rod Woodson's Vegas Vipers, and it was waterlogged. It was a very fun game to watch. But I'm sure if you're trying to win a football game, it wasn't as enjoyable. Kickers were losing their footing constantly, shanking kicks. Players losing their footing. It was all over the place. It was hard to catch balls. It was hard to hold on to balls. But you know what? As a Western Pennsylvania guy, I can appreciate that, and I'm sure you can as well. It was a very hard-fought game. However, Rod Woodson's Vegas Vipers, they fall, Mike, to the DC Defenders 18-6. So Woodson falls is 0-2. 0-2 in the XFL.
Come on, Rod. You're killing me, Smalls.
Sunday. This is the one that I like. The black and gold, the San Antonio Brahmas, the Hines Ward, the Joey Porter, the whole deal. They come out, they display a great defensive exhibition as well. They beat the Guardians from Orlando 30-12. I really thought you started to see it come together. And again, you hit 30 points. It's not like the NFL. You score 4 touchdowns, you kick 4 field goals. The XFL, there's so much more of a challenge a lot of the times. You score a touchdown, and it isn't an automatic. You kick that field goal, and we can figure out what the score is. Now you have to figure if you want to go out and try to get 1, 2, or 3, or what is it? 2,
1, 2, or 3.
1, 2, or 3.
Yeah,
and it's not a guarantee.
No,
like the field goal most of the time is in the NFL. So I mean, with this, it keeps you pulled in because it's not cut and dry.
Yeah,
it isn't okay. All we got to do is score this touchdown, kick a field goal, be down by 6. No. If you get a touchdown, now there's a whole other challenge presented to you.
Yeah.
And then you have to try to do that. And then after that, then you have these other options with kickoffs. Mike, I'm digging it so far. I really am. The Brahmas of San Antonio, the Hines Ward squad, they come through, Mike. They win 30-12 over the Orlando Guardians. They look good. They look like they're finally starting to hit on all cylinders.
Yeah, their quarterback, not bad. 3 passing touchdowns, no picks. Looking pretty good. I like their running game though. Ooh.
Yeah,
they have some rough run blocking
in the XFL. I would say that's been pretty standard so far. It's been it's been hard pressed to find a running back that's been successful in these first couple of weeks. However, we still have 8 weeks of regular season left and the playoffs, so hopefully that changes a little bit. But the defenses are playing really tough right now. See some of these head coaches. Jim Haslett, Rod Woodson, Hines Ward, Pittsburgh guys, all of course, they could come up with ways to finally start to run the ball and be a little bit more effective offensively.
Yeah.
But this league so far has been a defensive league, which I do appreciate. I do like that, and I can take that. But let's go to the next game. Like the last game of the weekend was the Houston Roughnecks. Mm-hmm. They traveled over to Arlington to play the Renegades. Now, this team is a team that I've been saying has been playing top notch since the beginning, which has only been 2 weeks. However, the Houston Roughnecks, Mike, this is a good team. I think down the stretch, you're probably going to see them getting better. They just, so far from what I've seen in week 1 and week 2, they would be that one team that I would say has been most solid overall.
Yeah. They were looking pretty good too. Like I watched most of the Brahma game. This game right here, I was like in and out of. There's a lot going on while I was watching the game, but what I saw, they look pretty good. Like they had that defense ready to rock and roll every single game.
Looking good. Like I said, the Roughnecks did win 23-14 over the Renegades. Next week, Mike, the first game of the week. There's one game on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday. Saturday is Seattle, where the Sea Dragons, they travel to Las Vegas to play the Vipers. That's at 7:00 on Saturday. Sunday, St. Louis Battlehawks travel to DC to play the Defenders. Sunday, the Orlando Guardians travel to Arlington to play the Renegades. That's at 4:00. And the last game of the weekend, Mike, which is one I am highly anticipating, is the 1-1 Hines Ward coached San Antonio Brahmas against the 2-0 Houston Roughnecks, who I keep going on and on about. This game is at 8:00 on Sunday. If you're going to watch XFL, I think that's the game to watch for the weekend next week, being the latter. I can't wait, Mike. I really cannot wait for this football game.
Me either, man. Oh, give me some more XFL. I'm loving the XFL. I'm loving it.
Me too.
I don't know what I'm seeing people try to rag on this team, saying like Georgia can beat an XFL team. No. These guys are playing some damn good football. These guys are just, that close to being in the NFL. This team, this league is it as good in the NFL? No, but a lot of these guys are like a heartbeat away from making an NFL roster.
Hey, that's right. I guarantee
this game right here this league is a good league. It's not the joke league it was when it first started. And I think they're still. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to say this is the all three runs at it. I'm most impressed with this.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. 2.0 was I was into that as well. But Mike, I think they're really finding the formula to make this league become something as a serious league.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get more into that in just a second. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that man, it feels like the XFL is still trying to shake the image of the XFL 1.
Yeah.
And that was how many years ago?
Right.
Well over a decade ago. Come on now.
2 years.
Yeah, 2 decades worth of stigma that they're still trying to erase. I don't see it. I don't know why people like football analysts are trying to like poo-poo all over this league. Why would you do that? This is football. This is the game we all love. You don't see hockey people going, making fun of like the KHL or the Swiss League or the Czech Elite League. No, they take that stuff serious. These are professional players that, could be close to making it into the league. Are they going to be standout great players? No, but they can be contributors. And there are people in here who had damn good careers, were Pro Bowlers at one point that are playing these leagues. So I find the disrespect to this league just mind-boggling. Like, this is a sport we love. Why would you shit on it just because it's not the NFL? No, it's not the NFL. I go in knowing I'm not going to see NFL level product, but I know I'm going to see some damn good, exciting plays and some players that are doing amazing things.
That brings me to my next question, Mike. Would it benefit the NFL to join the other 3 pro major sports in this country, of course, hockey, baseball, and basketball? Would it benefit the NFL to carry a sub-league, a minor league system? Because it seems to work for the other 3. And the one thing that's a disadvantage that I really hate to see for these guys that have all the talent in the world, but you become one man short to be a professional football player. You're the 54th man, and you have to give it up. You got to go get a job and I think that's screwing some of these young men over that deserve to continue to play football with their lives, because who's to say this guy isn't going to be top notch in 2 years? Who knew Tom Brady was going to be? If that was the case, 6th round, 7th round, whatever he was, if that was the case, the GOAT might have never played. You got to give guys chances, especially the NFL. Mike, I think a sub league, a minor league would benefit the NFL greatly in these players. What do you think?
I would like it. I would like, each team to have their own own team affiliated within these leagues. Now you'd have to expand the XFL, maybe expand the USFL, but why not? Why not? Like each team would have a team in one of the two leagues,
I
and
think it
that
would be a
way,
great idea.
that way, you would know where your players are, and like you would set it up like you do in hockey, more or less have like the same similar systems in both organizations.
Say
You got
Devin Bush wasn't performing up to standard, send him down.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
To where
know,
you would have to like you were saying, like you do in the NHL, that have that movement to where, like, if you go down there, you're not automatically another team can claim you. You have like waivers, X amount of moves up and down. Then you hit the waiver wire. Is this player going to clear waivers or not? That would be exciting. People are like, oh, this guy was put on waivers. Is he going to make it? Is another team going to gamble and grab this player who had potential but has that high contract? What's going to happen here and there? I I would love that kind of movement up and down for players. And like you said, you have teams that have, so you get 7 draft picks. Some teams get more, less through trade. So if you team that makes trade, you have 12 draft picks. Not all of them are going to make your active roster. Not all of them are going to make it through your practice squad because someone's going to pluck them away. But if you have this expanded other team, you can, okay, I'm going to put these lower draft picks that aren't going to make the active roster, aren't going to make the practice squad. I can throw them on this team down here and watch them play and watch them develop and have it. And, they will still be a part of the organization. And if they start producing, well, guess what? I'm going to call them up to the active roster or bump them up to the practice squad.
and there's cities.
Yeah.
There's cities that deserve more sports. There's cities that deserve sports. Some cities that are great sports cities don't have a football team. Mike, I think if you do this and make a connection between it and the NFL, have the NFL brand on this product, on this minor league system, I think it could do very well. I think it could probably do better than the other 3.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
again, you don't watch a lot of minor league baseball. You don't watch a
No.
lot of minor league hockey. So I think the NFL is exciting. It's the number one, it's the number one sport in this country right now.
Yeah.
And, I think that it could benefit. And like I said, once you slap an NFL affiliation to it, then the media takes it seriously. And then once the media takes it seriously, then people will start taking it seriously. I think that a minor league system for the NFL is a great idea. I think, like I said, it helps the players, it helps the team, it makes cities more money. It gives fans an opportunity to watch the game they love after the NFL season is said and gone. Big, like I said, there's dollars to be made.
Yes.
And and I think there's cities out there that would love to host one of these teams, Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Would love to host one of these.
And my God, like you have a place to where I want to put it like in a college hotbed town. Like,
right.
There's certain places where college football is king. They don't care about the NFL, but you have places that would love the NFL, but don't have
Places
their own franchise. So put an XFL team,
Where
put a
population
USFL
isn't
team
so
there.
great, like somewhere over heading west, the Utah area. People love their football with the BYU and all. You know what I mean? But it's just they don't have enough to carry a football squad along with basketball and whatnot. But something like this could be perfect. Perfect for those areas.
Yeah. And, they would still be affiliated with the NFL, but they would also be kind of independent.
Yeah.
I would and have these leagues to where you do have these different rules. Whereas the XFL, it's only 1 foot in bounds. Keep that in that league. Keep it in that league because, college still has it. It's that step below the NFL. Why not let the XFL have their new rules? USFL have their own rules. Because look, the league can see what works, what doesn't. Try them out down there, then take those ideas and move them into the NFL.
Absolutely.
And they would be stupid not to, but this league is, they want to be different than everyone else. And it's worked for them for this long. So I don't see them changing, but I would love to see them incorporate both of these organizations to be like a minor league teams.
That would be nice. I think a lot of people would dig it. The thing is, who's against it? You know what I mean? It's the people. It's the people that's sitting behind these doors making decisions. And like I said, the people out here, we want to see football.
I love football. I'll watch it year round. You put a game on, I'll sit down and watch some football.
Speaking of football, Mike, year round, this week starts the combine, the NFL combine.
Yes.
Running from Tuesday till next Monday. A lot of people are showing up today. Like I said, Omar Khan will be speaking at the podium tomorrow if you're interested in listening to what he has to say. But Mike, your combine, it's here. You've been waiting for it. I'm excited about it. I want to see, I want to see some of these guys. I want to see them run their 40s. I want to see all the fun stuff that the combine brings.
Me too. There's a couple big players that will not be working out at the combine. One
Mhm.
is a big defensive lineman from Georgia, Jalen Carter. He will not be
Mhm.
working out. That's he had a bad injury. He's
Yeah.
still recuperating from that. But the other one that's the quarterback out of Alabama.
Mm.
Oh my God,
Bryce
name
Young.
yeah, thank you, Bryce Young. I almost said CJ Stroud. I was looking at the picture of CJ Stroud. Yeah, Bryce Young will not be throwing at the combine. I believe he will be there. He'll do all the interviews and everything, but he's going to wait to work out at his pro day, which, I kind of don't blame him. You're sitting at the number one quarterback. I would wait till my pro day too. I would wait till I have my conditions that I am used to working with, my receivers, my facility. I don't blame them. But I believe CJ Stroud, Will Levis, and the quarterback out of Florida, Rich or Anthony Richards, I believe that's his
Yeah.
name. Those three I read, if I read it correctly, all three will be at the combine. All three will be throwing, running, working out. So that's
Uh,
awesome right there. You have three of your top four quarterbacks at the combine will be performing.
I mean, it just to me, it's the wheels are in motion. Once
Yes.
you get to the combine, now you know things are moving. Next, you got the
Mm-hmm.
draft. Next, you got
Yes.
and before you know it, it's gonna be midsummer. Guys will be showing up at camp. Mike, I got here's a quarterback comparison. I want your opinion real quick. Speaking
Uh-huh.
of Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, I read this comparison between the three top quarterbacks this season. Of course, Stroud, Young, and that Will Levis out of
Uh-huh.
Kentucky. I'm going to give you the three comparisons I heard, and I want your opinion. Do you think that these match up? Now, Will Levis, they say that he is comparable to a strong-armed Ryan Tannehill.
Okay. Huh. Huh. Well, Ryan Tannehill, he had a okay career once he moved out of Miami and down into Tennessee and got a nice run game around him. Like Will Levis, this a quarterback that had what more tackles in a game than he threw touchdowns.
Right.
So like he didn't really light it up in the SEC, but he's been projected as a first rounder going into like last year or beginning of this year. So I see him going in the first round. I can see him having like a Tannehill type career where, it's at first not that great. Finally moves to a team that has some weapons around it where he doesn't have to do too much. Yeah,
Right.
okay. But I like Will Levis. He doesn't wow me.
The next one, CJ Stroud was compared to Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton.
Huh. Damn. Poor kid.
Which I mean, people were high on Andy Dalton,
People were
early
high on,
on.
on the Red Rocket. Yeah. Like he's that guy, like he'll put up those numbers, but he's not gonna win you that
Right.
game. He's not gonna win you the big game. Whereas like we saw in college, CJ Stroud was winning some big games. But I don't know. I like CJ Stroud just because I love watching him play in college, but apparently he needs a lot of work on his throwing mechanics or something. His accuracy, I don't know. I like CJ Stroud, and to me, it's a slap in the face to compare him to Andy Dalton. But if he has an Andy Dalton type career, it's not bad. Andy Dalton had nice little run down in Cincinnati. He didn't embarrass himself that much.
And
But I think he's
finally,
better. I think he's way better than Andy Dalton.
finally, Bryce Young was compared to Drew Brees.
Yeah. I
Do
was
you
about to
really
say
think that this guy has it like that? I mean, Drew Brees is,
Drew Brees was one of the most accurate, probably the most accurate quarterback I've ever seen
that's what I'm
throw a
saying,
ball.
man.
Like Bryce Young, he has that similar stature. He's short. He can move when he needs to. But to me, like Drew Brees was like that thicker bodied guy to where he can absorb those hits. And I thought his accuracy was way better than Bryce Young's. But yeah, I'm seeing a lot of comparisons to Drew Brees. And I wonder if it's just because how short he is.
I bet that's got to be
Yeah, like I can't wait to see what his
right.
height is at the combine.
Yeah,
Maybe
absolutely.
that's why he's not going to do anything in the combine. He doesn't want that
You don't want
measurable
him.
out there because he's listed at like 6 foot, maybe 6'1".
You don't want him
People are
better than
saying
five four.
I seen him like taking pictures next to people that are 5'11". He's standing head to head with them. So
Right.
if he can, I don't know, man. Drew Brees had the way to move around the pocket to throw over those huge linemen. Bryce Young, man, I want to see him succeed. He was fun to watch at Alabama, but he's not my guy. Like I was more of a CJ Stroud guy, but I don't know. I've been wrong on a lot of quarterbacks.
On the other side of the ball, Mike, a couple of things going into this weekend. I did read Bud Dupree, after 2 years after making his big contract down in Tennessee, is more than likely going to be cut.
Yeah.
Also, the other big name that people were talking about, Bobby Wagner.
Yeah.
We are on a list of what these are the top 5 landing spots believed to be for Bobby Wagner. Number 1 being the Bengals. Number 2 being the Eagles. 3 being the Giants. 4 being the Detroit Lions. And 5 being the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I would
see Bobby Wagner landing?
I would take one of the Bengals or the Eagles. You know, you had a team who just made it to the Super Bowl, a team that's made it to the AFC champion, or had Super Bowl 2 years ago. Nice little run of the playoffs this year. I would take those 2 teams over everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, why would you come to Pittsburgh? You can make more money elsewhere and have a chance to go to a Super Bowl before you come to Pittsburgh. Now, I'd love to have him here, but for him at this stage in his career, I would, go to a place that's, I have a chance to make a nice run in the playoffs.
It's interesting that you say that, because I've heard you make that argument for Tremaine Edwards. Who do you see, Mike? Who do you see being a legit possibility to come and fill that Devin Bush spot? Somebody that would, they would take the money that Pittsburgh's willing to pay them. Somebody that's willing to come in and wear the black and gold. Somebody that's willing to come and play for a team that's probably not going to make a championship run this season. Who's the guy, Mike, that you most can see landing in that inside linebacker spot?
There's not one that really jumps to mind that's like a well-known starter.
Yeah.
Because, if I have that opportunity, I'm going to a team that's close to a championship, and it's not close. So it's going to be someone out of that second, third tier that's ready to bust out. I wouldn't mind. Who's the middle linebacker we talked about last week from Eagles? Oh my God.
He
led the league, 159 tackles. Him or Kazir White, I can see maybe if they can't get re-signed by the Eagles, maybe falling through the cracks and coming here because they're like one of those 2 coming here. Maybe they're like, they were just a byproduct of that system.
Right.
We have to get someone like that who teams might think, it's just that team, that system made them that good. I don't think we're going to get one of the top flight free agents. I just don't see it. I could be wrong, but I don't see, because why would you come here when there's other teams that are so much closer to a championship than Pittsburgh? Now, if we had like Ben in his prime and still,
how many wins did Cincinnati have last year, Mike? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Real quick, let me take a look. I can't remember off the top of my head either. They were 12-4. So
they won 3 more games than we did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would still go there. You got Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, that offense.
Everybody's different. Maybe they would like to play for the Steelers. Maybe they feel that they can make the Steelers
Yeah, I want to play with like TJ Watt.
Yeah, and probably put a team together that can make a nice run. So we'll see. I agree. It's hard to say at this point. It's hard to predict, of course. Mike, let's slide over to the baseball part for a minute here. Brian Reynolds. Now, I was just reading over the weekend. He sought an 8-year, $134 million contract with the Pirates before, talking all of his trade. I want to go somewhere else. Let's talk about we don't have much time, but for the sake of the Pirates, 8 years, $134 million. Say you was Bob Nothing's replacement. Do you pay that to Brian Reynolds?
No.
I agree.
No, he's good, but he's not elite.
Right. I'm not getting A-Rod here. You know what I mean?
No. Like, grand scheme of things, like in baseball contracts, it's probably not a lot, but no. Right. He doesn't wow me. You still have him under contract for the next 3 years, I believe.
Yeah.
So why? I was like, no, you're going to go out there and play, or guess what? I'll trade you and get some other pieces to the puzzle and go about your merry way. No, I'm not extending him to another contract.
The one game, like the people from Pittsburgh that people failed to speak about over the weekend much was the Pirates opening spring training game against the Blue Jays. They lose that game 9-7, Mike, but they are back in action today at 105 against the Phillies.
The Phils.
One thing I do want to talk about before we go, Jake Paul took the loss, huh?
Yes, he did.
Tommy
Was it a
Fury, was that the guy's name that beat him?
yes, Tommy Fury?
Now, Tommy Fury is the first actual boxer that he faced. Am I
Correct.
correct?
Correct.
And people were saying that his skills weren't quite as good,
Yeah.
and people were expecting Paul to win, but Jake Paul took the L, huh?
He took the L, and people said once he fought an actual boxer, doesn't matter how good that boxer is, he would take his first L, and he did. And this is what happens when you're not fighting celebrities, you're not
Right.
fighting MMA fighters outside of their arena.
Right.
This is what happens when you fight someone who's a pro boxer. I don't care what level it is, you're fighting a pro, you're probably not gonna you're gonna get your ass whooped.
I'm
No,
not a
he
big
didn't get
fan of these
embarrassed.
guys.
No, I'm not either. He didn't go out there and get embarrassed.
Right.
He did throw a nice solid punch that rocked him, knocked the guy down, knocked Fury down, but he just didn't have enough to beat a legit boxer.
And he seems like he could fight, but just not a huge fan of these Pauls. I don't know, just never was.
I like the one who wrestles, because like when he goes out there, he puts on an entertaining match.
Does he really?
Of course, yeah. He's only been in like three matches, and they work on him, for months. But he has the talent to where if he would do it full time, I think he would be a legit star in the WWE. Whereas this brother right here, keep fighting former pro athletes and former MMA players.
Yeah.
Don't fight real boxers. Or if you do, start taking it serious, man. Take it, try and work your way up through the ranks.
He'd probably do all right,
He'd be, probably I don't think would he contend for like one of the major belts in boxing world. No, but I think he could, hey, there's nothing wrong with being a mid-tier boxer. You're still one of the baddest people on the planet.
Right. Like, why don't you go and tell everybody about the website?
It is twodumbyinzers.com, the number 2 DUMYINZERS.com. Head on over there. We have links for everything associated with our brand. We got YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Anchor, the merchandise store linked to there on the website, email address on there, everything you need at twodumbyinzers.com.
There you have it, everybody. Check it out, www.twodumbyinzers.com. We are live all through the week, Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. The show that we do every day gets uploaded in Spotify at 8 o'clock the evening of that day. So if you'd like to listen to this show in podcast form, go over to Spotify at 8 o'clock this evening, and it will be over there. That's all week long. Mike, we got time for a quick trivia?
Yes, we do.
This trivia question, Mike, is an NFL Combine question.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Starting the Combine this week, switch it up a little bit. NFL Combine trivia. Here we go. What year was the first NFL Combine? What year was the first NFL Combine? Talk it out if you need to. I'll give you a hint. It was during our life. I mean,
yeah.
Wasn't anything that was...
Let's go with 1980.
1980. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to lock Mike in. Mike says the first Combine was in 1980. All right, here we go. What year was the first NFL Combine? Mike says 1980. The answer is very close to that, Mike. 1982.
Oh.
1982.
Oh. Bootleg.
But there you have it, everybody. We have the Combine starting this week. That's what, 41 years ago? 41 years ago, the Combine started.
41. No, yeah, something like that. 40 some odd years ago.
Can't wait. I can't wait. But there you have it, 1982, everybody. That was the year of the first NFL Combine. Learn something new every day.
Yes.
Mike, do you have anything before we take off, man?
Hey, no, it is Combine season, baby. This off season starts in a couple days once we had the first person on the field at Indy in the Combine. I'm loving it. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what Omar Khan does in his first year as GM.
A lot of anticipation there. No two ways about it. A lot of big things going on this week. Combine, of course, today after the show, about maybe the next couple minutes, we have the new rankings coming out for the excuse me, for
Yes.
college basketball. I can't wait to see where Pitt lands. Also, Pitt got a big game this week against Notre Dame. Penguins will be back at it tomorrow. Everybody, big stuff going on.